Hey everybody, Tim Brahim with Performance Experts Coaching and Leadership 360. And today I'm interviewing Debbie Tayman, who is the wife of Alan Tayman, who is in Leadership 360 group number 5. And Debbie, first of all, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to join me today and to share a little bit about your experiences of Alan being in the Leadership 360 program.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So Debbie, let me just dive in and I would imagine somebody that's watching this that is the partner of a prospective client of ours may have some reservations or just feel, kind of in the dark as to what this thing is about. So the first question I'd have is when Alan first came to you and said, hey, I want to do this coaching program that's going to have me going to Costa Rica for 8 days and Los Angeles twice for 4 days, and it's going to be for a full year. What were your thoughts and did you have any concerns?
I had a couple. I don't know if it was concerns as more as intrigue. First, I wanted to go to Costa Rica too. And I was like, well, how
Yeah.
come I can't come? It was expensive, but I wasn't even quite sure how to approach that part of it yet because I didn't really understand what the program was, whether it was considered business coaching or personal life coaching or a combination. So I really wanted to explain to me what he understood it to be first, and then I could kind of understand, and I wanted to be open to it. So I was concerned that I was going to have an immediate reaction and put it off on him. So I really was trying to understand the program.
Cool. Yeah, and I realize that one of the things that can be difficult is that believe me, for us, it's a big challenge is trying to explain what it is that we do because it's so deep and vast, and over the course of a year, a lot gets accomplished. So it can be a little bit difficult to summarize that, which then doesn't get relayed back to the partner as cleanly as maybe we would like, hence the reason for this interview. So Ellen's been with us now for almost 2 years. Maybe you can highlight a couple of benefits that you've seen that Alan's experienced on a business level, anything that comes to mind.
Sure. And I'm looking back at it now because it was a kind of a slower progression. But looking at him today, there's a huge difference, I think, in his ability to approach a healthy work-life balance. For him, and he had struggled for years, he's been working in this industry for 20 plus years. He took a lot of it personally. He, I think, had trouble delegating because he wasn't as confident about what that future self was going to look like. And it's a struggle to kind of do that and have a family and have a working wife and all of these things. And he's got a level of peace and confidence that I don't think he had several years ago. It wasn't immediate because I think he was, as intrigued by the process as I was. But his focus is much better. He seems more relaxed, even though his business is growing. His relaxation is growing, and I think he's been able to delegate a little bit more to his team and have confidence that with his support, they can get it right. It doesn't have to be him every moment of the day.
Yeah, I remember back and thank you for sharing that. I remember back when I first interviewed Alan, one of the things that he and I talked about on a health level was just his nervous system being pretty intense and jacked up a lot of the time. He was taking a lot on himself in a business capacity, and that was, of course, bleeding into the personal experience of digestion and things of that nature. He's done a wonderful job over the last 2 years of growing his business. I'm really happy for him that his business has grown, and super happy to hear you reflect that it seems that he's doing it with a bit more grace and a little less intensity. So that's something that a lot of people that engage with us are interested in doing, is growing their business, but doing it in less time and having a little bit more work-life balance. So that leads me to the next question, which is on a personal level, is there anything in particular that you could cite that has been noteworthy that you've seen in terms of Alan's personal growth in the last couple of years?
I think he has created personal goals for himself that he's shared with me, although not every time, which I thought was kind of interesting because most of what we do together. And he's experiencing some things personally. He's doing yoga on his own. He's kind of doing his own meditation time and things that he didn't used to do. And I think it's really helping him. I think the program also forced him to schedule those times and now I'm noticing that it's not a forced schedule. It's something that really makes him feel better. So he's more motivated to do it. It's not so much just about the call that's coming up and that he's got to check back boxes for himself, that he really is finding some inner strength which leads to a more peaceful Alan, which is good for all of us, right?
For sure. For sure. Especially for you and your children, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, I mean, that piece that you touched upon about him having some goals that he didn't necessarily disclose to you, that happens frequently, just so you're aware that a lot of times when our clients come back from Costa Rica, when they're there, they come to some very clear awarenesses on some areas of their life that they want to work on that are very personal to them. It could be anything from their relationship with their child to the relationship with their spouse to the relationship with themselves. And sometimes those can be very deep, contemplative processes that then result in people kind of wanting to hold it within themselves and to stick with it. So I'm really happy to hear that you're experiencing a more relaxed Alan. That makes me really happy. Final question is somebody who's watching this that is contemplating being in the Leadership 360 family, joining our program, and particular the spouse that might be watching this, what would you say to them?
Take a deep breath, try to understand it a little bit from their perspective. I'm a very reactionary person, so at first it was kind of a guttural, well, wait, you're doing this without me, I want to go do it, let's do this together. It's really not about that, but I think the benefit for him has also benefited me, even though it's been a separate experience. So that was kind of an initial thing that I was worried about, that I think this is not something we could have done together or as a family. He needed to do this for himself and his business too, but really more for himself. And then the money piece really was the secondary issue in the end. For me, that really was more about what he needed to do to grow.
I can imagine that just hearing you share that, I mean, I've never really thought of that before, but I can imagine that from a spouse's perspective, there could be some fear of like, well, you're going to go into a business coaching program and you're going to grow your business and you're going to be even more out of control. Right. And, so thankfully that's not what we teach. We actually teach the opposite, which is let's grow our businesses consciously and not grow further apart from the people in our lives that are important to us. And I know that you guys were in Italy last summer as a family and weren't able to come to our Italy retreat where we did for spouses and couples, if you will. But you've just motivated me to design another one because it sounds like you really wanted to go to Costa Rica. So maybe we'll okay, cool. Maybe we'll put something together. Awesome. Debbie, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. Really, really appreciate you sharing from your heart, and look forward to finally meeting you at some point in time. Yes, and at the couples retreat. That would be cool. Awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of this video. Bye-bye.